Chicago, 2011. A cop is murdered. Police and prosecutors swear they have the trigger man. He swears he didn't do it. How far will each side go to prove they're right?
Like it's just one bombshell after another, where you're like, what?
The story of a PlayStation, a brain-eating amoeba, and the relentless pursuit of justice. Off Duty, out now. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
This message comes from Jackson. Taxes aren't something you can only think about once a year. With investments, planning for tax day is year-round. Fortunately, Jackson offers tax-efficient products. Visit jackson.com for more information on how our products can make your tax bill a little bit less painful. Jackson is short for Jackson Financial Incorporated, Jackson National Life Insurance Company, Lansing, Michigan, and Jackson National Life Insurance Company of New York, Purchase, New York.
Howdy, howdy, ho, and welcome to Fantasy Fan Fellas. I'm Hayden, producer of the Fantasy Fangirls podcast and your resident lover of all things Sanderson.
And I'm Steven, your bookish internet goofball, but you can call me the Smash Daddy.
And we are currently deep diving Brandon Sanderson's fantasy epic, Mistborn. But here's the catch. Steven here has not read Mistborn before.
That's right, hey. So each week, you'll get my unfiltered, raw reactions to every single chapter.
And along the way, we'll do character deep dives, magic explainers, and Steven will even try to guess what's next. Spoiler alert, he'll be wrong.
Newsflash, I'm never wrong. Episodes come out every Wednesday, and you can find Fantasy Fan Fellas wherever you get your podcasts.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Psycholegal Pop Podcast. I am Tess Brigham. I'm the therapist. My sister is not here with me right now, but she's the attorney. And we just wanted to share a preview of a true crime episode that we put out this week for our Patreon patrons. This is part of the $8 tier, and part of the $8 tier is you get the weekly bonuses that you've been hearing. If you've been listening to the other Patreon previews, you get those in addition to this monthly true crime and an Ask Us Anything, which we're going to put out next week. So this is Say Her Name, the life and death of Sandra Bland, and hope you enjoy. Thanks so much. Hello, and welcome back to Patreon.
Hello.
So we are back with this month's True Crime Patreon exclusive. So we are covering Say Her Name, the life and death of Sandra Bland. This was an HBO documentary. It was very good. Brooke, you have a synopsis?
Yeah, it was produced by Sheila Nevins from HBO, but it's currently running on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's also
running. I got it on Hulu.
Oh, did you? So maybe it is on. Maybe it is
both.
I don't know. It's out there. You can easily find it. So
yes.
Okay, so I'm just going to give you a synopsis of the Sandra Bland case in case you don't know anything about it, and then we'll talk about the documentary. So Sandra Annette Bland was a 28-year-old African-American woman who was found hanged in a jail cell in Waller County, Texas, on July 13th, 2015, 3 days after being arrested during a traffic stop. Officials found her death to be a suicide. There were protests against her arrest, disputing the cause of death and alleging racial violence against her. Bland was pulled over for a traffic violation on July 10th by State Trooper Brian Encina. The exchange escalated, resulting in Bland's arrest and a charge of assaulting a police officer. The arrest was partially recorded by Encina's dash cam, a bystander's cell phone, and Bland's own cell phone. After authorities reviewed the dash cam footage, Encina was placed on administrative leave for failing to follow proper traffic stop procedures. Texas authorities and the FBI conducted an investigation into Bland's death and determined the Waller County Jail did not follow required policies, including time checks on inmates and ensuring that employees had completed required mental health training. In December 2015, a grand jury declined to indict the county sheriff and jail staff for a felony related to Bland's death. The following month, Encina was indicted for perjury for making false statements about the circumstances surrounding Bland's arrest, and he was subsequently fired by the Texas Department of Public Safety. In September 2016, Bland's mother settled a wrongful death lawsuit against the county jail and police department for $1.9 million and some procedural changes. In June 2017, the perjury charge against Encenia was dropped in return for his agreement to permanently end his law enforcement career. In 2019, Bland's cell phone video became available to the public and Bland's family for the first time. The video was obtained and shown by Dallas news station WFAA. The video was not available during the civil trials.
Okay.
So
high level, I thought this was very good. I think it was very well done. It's HBO. I was amazed by how quickly they had access to the family because this is happening in, we see them in real time. It's been 3 days, 4 days. It's been 2 weeks, a month. The other thing too was that I did not realize she was only 28. I somehow thought she was, I don't know why. I thought she was like in her 40s or something. I don't know why. I was like, 28? That's nothing.
Yeah.
It's a baby. Wow.
Yeah.
It was a lot.
Yeah, she was young. She is from Chicago, but she went to Texas to, what is it called?
Prairie View.
Prairie View is a historically Black college. She got a scholarship to go there and play in the marching band. And so that is in Texas, this Waller County. Is Prairie View the name of the town? Or does it have a different name?
That's a good question. I feel like it's the name of the town and it's also the name of the university.
Yeah. So, being from Chicago and going to this kind of small town I'm sure in Texas was quite a shock. But she graduated from college. She went back to Chicago for a little while, and then she was having trouble finding work and whatnot, and she ended up getting a job at her old university, Prairie View, and went back. So anyway, that wasn't the question, but the high level. This is just a fascinating story. It's because the title, say her name, trying to bring attention to her name is a really big part of this because, unfortunately, there's a lot of police brutality and killings. And when it happens to a African-American man, we all remember the name. We know George Floyd, we know Eric Garner, we know Tamir Rice, but this happens to women too. It happens to African-American women as well. But we never know who they are. They don't kind of become part of the cultural zeitgeist, but they made sure her family and the people who knew of her and knew of the story made sure that people did know her name. And I also didn't realize the amount of protest that was happening at the Waller County Jail. People were out there.
Oh, yeah.
It was like a vigil.
Yeah. They projected her image on the side of the building. I mean, they were organized and out there. Yeah.
They were out there, with the bullhorns, saying, say her name and protesting. And they had the new Black Panther Party there and standing off against dozens and dozens of these, local law enforcement people. It was intense. I had no idea that this, so this is, 2015, 2016.
Well, the other thing too which I didn't realize, was that Sandy was very active in the Black Lives Matter movement, that she had this vlog.
I think it was just on Facebook.
But she posted videos on a regular basis, and she had this thing called Sandy Speaks, and it was her, and her talking about things and her sharing what she was thinking and everything that's going on. And so she was very much, very vocal, very And I believe that my understanding was this job in Prairie View was supposed to kind of like help her, like was going to allow her to do some of the social justice stuff that and get a master's degree and some other things. I thought because you know, when I learned she was 28 and they were talking about she was trying to find herself, I'm like, oh, these are the clients I work with, you know, like this time of your life where you're post college and you're really trying to center it. And what's so heartbreaking about this is that, like, if you're going through this, you know that it's so hard to figure that out. And then you figure it out and then you get the job and you've gotten the job and you are so close, you know, you've done all this stuff and then it's gone.
Yeah. So literally she's just got back into town. She has this job. She's going to be starting the job. She's literally driving to the grocery store and she gets pulled over for not putting on her turn signal when she
from one lane to the other. She's not turning right or left. I mean, I'm talking about moving. How many people forget to do that? How many people?
She also told the officer, this Encenia guy, she told him, well, I was trying to get over because you were like all up on me. And she thought he was trying to get through or get by or something. And, you know, he just didn't like her from the second he saw her. He thought she had an attitude.
Yeah. He wanted her to be subservient.
Yeah.
He wanted to approach that car, and what he was wanting or expecting was her to be like, oh, I'm so sorry. What did I do? What happened? Oh, okay. Oh, you're giving me this ticket. Like, kind of this, you know, bow down to me. And she wasn't going to do it. And she wasn't being mean. She was kind of just being like, this is ridiculous. Like, this isn't fair.
She's kind of like, I don't need this, you know?
Yeah.
And she complied with everything he asked. She gave her license. He went back to his car because then 5 minutes pass. So he's doing his thing in his car for 5 minutes. He goes back to the car and he started it. He said, you know, kind of like, why do you have an attitude? Or are you mad about something? And she's like, well, yeah, I am kind of mad because I think this is not fair you're pulling me over for this. And, you know, so, and then he starts getting mad at her for saying that. And she's like, well, you asked me, you asked what was wrong. And I'm telling you. And then it just escalated from there.
Yeah.
And
because
he just started to, he was like, oh, she wants to argue with me. And so, you know, then he starts in with, can you put out your cigarette? And she's like, I'm sitting in my own car. Why do I have to put out my cigarette? That pissed him off. And he escalates it again. This man, he did everything, you know, police officer training 101 wrong. He purposefully escalated a situation unnecessarily. I don't think it's ever necessary to escalate. Your job as a police officer is to de-escalate. And he just did everything wrong and he didn't like it. And he ordered her to get out of the car. When she wouldn't get out of the car, he dragged her out of the car.
Yeah, he reached in.
He slapped her. He physically removed her from the car. He took her outside of the view of the camera for a little while, but you could tell there was some kind of a struggle. I think he tried to tase her.
No, she eventually got out of the car because he basically said, either get out of the car or I'm going to light you up.
Yeah.
I'm going to light you up.
Tase her.
Let's go, if we can go back for a second to this encounter, because the piece of it is, it's like, okay, come on, Brian and Senia. If you ask her, you know, it's almost like he's mad at her for being mad about the situation. Right. You know, this is bullshit. You do. And I get the sense that he kind of just saw her and decided I feel like he kind of targeted her.
Yeah.
Like, why were you speeding up on her if you weren't off to go somewhere else? It's a little bit like, you know, kind of, I'm going to spot you. And then because she wasn't pleasant and like deferred to you, there was a moment, this is what the lawyer talks about that they hired Cannon. There was a moment at which, you know, he had a choice. He could have, when he said, you know, you seem upset. And she said, well, yeah, I am. In that moment, all he needed to do is like okay, I hear you. It's still a violation. I still need to give you this ticket. She was signing it. She was going to do it. And I'm so, like, I hear you. Got it. How many of us have been in a job where people are yelling at us and it's got like, a little bit of like, okay, we just sort of go, okay, fine. Let's just move forward.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is how you're feeling. Like, it's almost as if she was punished for having feelings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There you go.
This is another aspect to it. This is also intertwined. So you have this historically Black college in the middle of this white town.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a real division. And she talked about, or one of her friends talked about how she was involved with protests because they were trying to suppress the Black students from voting
Mm-hmm.
in that community because their votes were, what's the word I'm looking for? They were canceling out the votes of the white people.
No, they were not falling in line with isn't this how we got the Electoral College was because of slavery? And didn't the Electoral College come about because these, I don't want to say it's just the South, but to appease
the southern states.
Yeah, because they had a population, but
their population couldn't vote.
Yeah, but they wouldn't let the, population vote. So don't let that don't let that interfere with us still having power.
Right. And so the friend was saying that this community was really over policed.
Yes.
You had the sheriff's department, you had the campus police, you had the
Texas Rangers,
state police, the Texas Rangers, they were over policed, and I'm sure she was only pulled over because she was Black.
Mm-hmm.
I forget what started me talking about this, but yeah, I don't know. I've lost the.
That's okay.
Where we're going with this?
It's so okay.
Fired up.
But yeah, it is. It'll get you really fired up. Yeah. But so let's go back to because I was the one that took us off track. So Brian had Tupper had many, many moments where he could have very easily. Hey everyone. So I hope you enjoyed this clip, Say Her Name, The Life and Death of Sandra Bland. As I mentioned at the beginning, this is part of our $8 tier. So we have two tiers, a $5 tier and an $8 tier. For the $5 tier, you get all of our shows ad-free, a weekly bonus episode where we talk about various things that are happening in pop culture news. We usually take an angle. Brooke will talk about the legal part. I will talk about the mental health part. This week, we are talking about Leah McSweeney's case against Bravo and Andy Cohen. And then for our $8 tier, you get all of those things plus this monthly true crime that is only on Patreon, and another monthly Ask Us Anything where you can ask us legal questions, mental health questions, or other questions or things that you would like to hear our thoughts on. So if you enjoyed this, go check us out. Psych Legal Pop Podcast over on Patreon. Thanks so much. Bye.
This message comes from Jackson. Taxes aren't something you can only think about once a year. With investments, planning for tax day is year-round. Fortunately, Jackson offers tax-efficient products. Visit jackson.com for more information on how our products can make your tax bill a little bit less painful. Jackson is short for Jackson Financial Incorporated, Jackson National Life Insurance Company, Lansing, Michigan, and Jackson National Life Insurance Company of New York, Purchase, New York.
Howdy, howdy, ho, and welcome to Fantasy Fan Fellas. I'm Hayden, producer of the Fantasy Fangirls podcast and your resident lover of all things Sanderson.
And I'm Steven, your bookish internet goofball, but you can call me the Smash Daddy.
And we are currently deep diving Brandon Sanderson's fantasy epic, Mistborn. But here's the catch. Stephen here has not read Mistborn before.
That's right, hey. So each week, you'll get my unfiltered, raw reactions to every single chapter.
And along the way, we'll do character deep dives, magic explainers, and Stephen will even try to guess what's next. Spoiler alert, he'll be wrong.
Newsflash, I'm never wrong. Episodes come out every Wednesday, and you can find Fantasy Fan Fellows wherever you get your podcasts.